The Design Award winner for restoration and refurbishment, selected by the judges for its confident contemporary design in providing new community hall facilities next to a Grade 2 listed church, is the extension to the community hall at St Nicholas Church. And I'm here today with Mike Staff, the architect from Nicolas Architects, who is going to answer a few key questions. So firstly, Mike, what were the biggest challenges in undertaking this project?
I think from the planning process, it was certainly that engagement with the Historic England, the Diocese Advisory Committee for the church authorities and the planners to sort of work on that engagement as soon as possible. So one of the other challenges was the elevation of the building, the sort of vista from the road. I mean, that was something that the Conservation Officer at Guildford Borough Council was concerned about impact, lessening the sort of any impact on the Loseley Chapel, but also it was the elevation from the road. We had the sort of monopitch roof of the 70s, the parish office and the wing there, and we had a small umbrella type glazed entrance at the time. So it was marrying up those, how to deal with it, and I'd like to think it works quite well with we had a similar monopitch roof for the new entrance, and the two there give, I think, quite a nice sort of staggered design approach to the main entrance. The Loseley Chapel is of primary interest as a sort of medieval remains and is of some significance. We had envisaged first of all an extension, all glazed extension attached to the chapel to provide as much space and light as possible. That hit some problems with Historic England, and then the Conservation Officer at Guildford Borough Council also had concerns about that direct impact on Loseley Chapel. So it was a question then of sort of scaling back the ambitions, trying to keep with the vision of a very glazed, welcoming space, to increase the space from, as before, was quite a sensitive 70s extension to the building, but it gave a very limited amount of entrance space into the church and the hall complex. So it was an attempt to try and create as much space and light and a welcome environment as possible.
And when you set off on the project, what were the main objectives that you had in mind?
So it was an attempt to sort of address some functional issues that had arisen from the quinquennial inspection, but also to try and take the opportunity of having to spend significant money in that project to see what could be done to improve the whole environment, to create some sort of welcome meeting space and sort of light and airy space for the sort of parishioners and the community. It was very much seen as a community centre to sort of encourage people to come in.
And now, having seen this completed building, what's the one single most quality that gives you the most enjoyment in seeing in your design?
So there were attempts to sort of try and achieve the same effect of a lot of sort of glazing and light by using a more economic system of a steel frame and aluminium window systems and patent glazing, etc. So I think that was one thing that pleased me particularly, was that hopefully we've gained the sort of the quality of space without appearing as though it's sort of things being pared down too much.
Now the building's been finished a little while. What sort of feedback have you had from the local community in using these wonderful new facilities?
The response that all the users have, they're obviously sort of church users of all the facilities, but it's been very much a community centre, and I think there's been a wish to increase the community use as much as possible. So that has been, everyone's been delighted. It sort of soon after it was opened, it seemed to gain the name the Atrium, with a certain sort of fondness for that sort of glazed feeling, and the chairs and tables that were never possible before gave a nice sort of meeting space. The hall is virtually in use all the time, so which is just lovely to see.